In this video, we are going to show the functionalities implemented in the SEG for fisheries control and fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated activities. So the first thing you're going to check is that on client preferences, your operation is set to FK, as this will impact in the kind of information that you see on the SEG. Second interesting thing to show is on this layers button. You go to base layers and you can configure the map that is behind all the information. So you can change to OpenStreetMap, Bing Satellite, Bing Maps, and also nautical charts. You have two, a basic one and also a detailed one. Both has a lot of information, including a detailed bathymetry, which is very useful for controlling fishing activities. The detailed one, in addition, has all the navigational aids that can be also useful at some point. Let's go back to OpenStreetMap. And we're going to show now this layer here called areas. And as you can see, it has a lot of sub-layers, and they are organized depending on which is the provider of the information. So we have all the different RFMOs, or Regional Fisheries Management Organization, and that provided information. So we have NEAF, we have NAFO, North Atlantic Fisheries, we have ICAT, we have GFCM, and also FAO and ISES. So let's see an example of FAO areas. I'm gonna load all of them. So we have all the FAO and ISES areas for the whole world. However, you can filter to those that you are interested. So for example, let's display only the area 37, or even only the sub-area 37.1. Now we're going to show these maritime boundaries, which has two sub-layers. One is the 12 nautical mile zone. You see that it is, let's remove these FAO areas. You see that it is these two lines. One is the baseline, while the other is the 12 nautical miles drawn out of this baseline. Let's use this ruler to check that more or less it is 12 nautical miles. I'll remove this action, and we're going to go to the indicative exclusive economic zones that are also shown for the whole world for each of the countries and its exclusive economic zone. Something useful to handle all these areas and sub-areas is this button here, and you see that this default will change by clicking on it. It changes to My Filter 1. So what I've done is to save the view and the filters that I have selected right now. I can rename it and save it. So we can we can always back to our preferred filter just like that. I'm gonna go now to show another example. In this case, it's gonna be the North Atlantic fisheries areas that we have. As you can see, we have the convention area or the regulatory area. We have also the divisions and even the fisheries restricted areas. Let's load a more detailed map. So we see the bathymetry here. In order to show another layer, important one, which is the vessels. As you can see, the vessels are shown, the last positions from the last 24 hours. And if we click on symbology here, and if we click on the information icon, we will display the legend to know what's the meaning of each of these icons. So we see here that we have categorized the positions depending on gear type. So we have dark green icons, which means that these are bottom trawlers, and also black icons, which means that we don't have information about the gear type of this particular vessel. We can change to data source, so we see which are the systems providing positions here. We have that yellow is VMS, plus satellite AIS is blue, plus gray, which is LRAT systems. So let's concentrate on these vessels providing VMS, as they're probably fishing vessels. We can select the vessel type to see that exactly these vessels are orange, meaning that they are fishing vessels. So if we click on one of them, and I'll remove now the legend, because we want to concentrate on this panel here, which is what we call the command and info panel, because it contains commands, so you can request further information, and also it contains information about that particular vessel. So we have that Estonian vessel Madrus, a fishing vessel operating with all these particulars. Also, the license will be included here in incoming versions of the SEG. And then if you click on this button on more info, you get to this tab here with the generic information about the vessel. But if you click on a specific, you would get to all the different regional fisheries management organization tabs, where you can get specific information about that vessel on that particular RFMO. And what commands are specific for fisheries? This one here, with this fish, and we click on it, we get forwarded to the Common Fleet Register of the Commission with the information of this particular vessel, the Madrus, and all the information that they have on that database. So the gross tonnage, the length overall, the horsepower of the engine, etc. What is also interesting to know the past positions, that we can know by clicking on this Get Track button, and we get all the positions from the last 24 hours, and we can check that this vessel has been trawling here. Alternatively, we can do it in a different way. We can click on this 3-dot button, which is the Advanced Get Track, and we can select other time windows for positions. So we can do it by selecting 2 dates, or by selecting the last days or hours, weeks, etc. Let's remove. Let's check now a fishing vessel with the Smart Search. The Smart Search is this button here, and we can type the name, we can type the IMO number, we can type the MMSA number, and we get redirected to the vessel. So for example, let's do it for this same vessel that we've been looking, and you see that it forwards us directly to the vessel again. Let's try another one. Again. And we have another way, which is instead of the Smart Search, we can click on this button here, and we get to the Advanced Search. With the Advanced Search, we can do it by typing exactly what we want. And in addition, if we activate this checkbox here, project specific, we get to all the information about the flag. So we know that, for example, we have 9,000 Spanish vessels, and by activating, the numbers of each filter starts to change. We can also filter by the gear type. So we have here all the numbers of the gear types that we have in the SEG. So for example, we have 929 bottom trawlers, and we can continue filtering until we get to the information that we want. And that's it. That's all we wanted to show in regards of using the SEG for fisheries control and IUU activities.